Hey guys, it's Eric with Low VA Rates, and today I want to go over what a letter of explanation is. We refer to that as an LOE, letter of explanation, and why it matters to you. When you apply for a home loan, your loan officer may ask you to provide a letter of explanation, Now in today's video, I'm going to explain what that is, why it's your secret weapon, and how it can affect your ability to get approved for a home loan, and what info you should include when you write one. You might notice I'm wearing red. Let me give you a letter of explanation. Let me explain to you why I'm wearing red. If this is your first time watching, if you watch every Friday, then you already know. But on Friday here at Low VA Rates, we all wear red. If you could look out amongst me right now, some of the employees that are in here helping me, they're all in red because that's what we do every Friday. Remember, everyone, ED, deployed, RED, red. Even if you're not deployed, we do it more as a way to say thank you, men and women of the military. We support you, we love you, we are thankful. So if you feel the same way, feel free to wear red every single Friday. Speaking of red, down in the bottom right corner of most of the screens where you're watching this video, there is likely a subscribe button. Please subscribe specifically to our YouTube channel where we host most of these videos, and then we share them through different social media platforms. So let's start right here. I want to go over what a letter of explanation is. Notice LOE. I'm putting this on here because loan officers and mortgage professionals have the tendency from time to time to speak somewhat of a different language, and they just assume all of you out there watching who eventually call us and ask for help must know what an LOE says or what an LOE stands for. So your loan officer might say, hey, Mr. Smith, I need an LOE on your job employment gap or your employment gap. LOE, what is that? It's a letter of explanation. The most simple definition is that it's a letter that you're going to write or type to explain likely a negative aspect of your application. These letters of explanation are intended to help address any questions that an underwriter, now we've got videos on underwriting. The underwriter is the person that's going to determine, yes, this person can have a loan or no, they can't. But it's going to help the underwriter when reviewing your application to potentially answer some questions or concerns they might have. Let's talk about some. How about derogatory marks on your credit history? Okay, what are some things you might be asked to explain? Derogatory credit history. And look, that list goes on and on and on and on. Could be late payments, could be bankruptcies, could be collection accounts. Something that might not be on your credit report. It's actually probably not on your credit report, but you might need to explain. Could be something like gaps in employment. What's a gap in employment? Well, let's say you worked at Home Depot for 5 years from 2000 to 2005. Then you started working at Lowe's in 2006. Well, what happened between when you left in 2005 and started your new job in 2006? That is a gap in employment, and we are going to need you to clarify and explain what happened. Clarifying unusual activity like that is helpful. Perhaps there is something weird on your bank statements. Though VA loans many times don't require the submission of bank statements, if you're bringing money to closing, if you're putting money down, if you're using a lot of assets in the bank to perhaps get approved for a loan and there's a very large deposit or there was an overdraft, there was something in those bank statements that needs to be explained, you would explain that on your letter of explanation. Now, while these purposes might make it sound like there's a problem with your application, I don't want you to think any of these are necessarily a problem. The letter of explanation helps us understand what happened so that these aren't problems. Okay, the letter of explanation is simply there to clear up questions the underwriter might have. And a really good loan officer and a really good buyer or borrower like you, all of those of you watching, we know that you're educated. If you give this letter of explanation detailed up front before the underwriter can even start going down a rabbit hole as to what might have happened and why maybe you are too risky to give a loan to, you can change all of that, put a totally positive, I don't want to say spin on things because that's not what it is. It needs to be honest. It needs to be accurate. But if you can get in front of concerns with an accurate explanation as to what happened, that's the secret weapon I'm talking about. That's power. And your loan officer should know that, but it needs to come from you. Let's talk about why the letter of explanation is such a great opportunity for you. For starters, it brings back the human element into the loan application process. So many lenders out there have this checklist. Is your credit score below a 640? Can't do it. Did you ever miss a mortgage payment? Can't do it. It's just boom, 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 boom. We don't do that here at Low V Rates, nor would anybody else that's willing to look at a letter of explanation. Okay? The data doesn't always tell the full story. There's a lot of people with a 640 FICO score that can't make mortgage payments. There's people with lower than 640 FICO scores that can. So these letters of explanation are meant to help the underwriter get a deeper understanding regarding your actual ability to make payments on the mortgage you're applying for. Having the chance to explain why something is the way that it is can be an awesome and powerful opportunity for you. Here's a common example of how this might work. Here at Low VA Rates, we historically haven't had a minimum credit score requirement for our VA loans, right? So we're going to leave this box open right now. We don't have a minimum. However, when determining whether or not we can approve your loan, the truth is your credit score and your credit history will play a role. I'm just going to throw this up here. Let's just say you have a 550. I'm not going to tell you yes or no, because here at Low VA Rates, we're not going to just determine your risk level by your FICO score alone. But your FICO score is going to tell us we should probably pull back a couple layers of the onion, so to speak, and go a little bit deeper. We certainly just want to find out how likely are you to be able to pay back your loan. Now, we recognize that there are a lot of mitigating circumstances out there that could have led to this lower score. And we feel very strongly those are worth considering. And by the way, so does the VA. We're not making up our own rules here. We are supporting and following VA lender guidelines as written by the Department of Veterans Affairs, the Home Loan Department. So we've worked with veterans before who have had late payments on mortgages or credit cards because they were deployed. Mail got lost. They were way too emotionally out of focus. And they explained that. These are situations that are often outside of your own control. So for us, knowing these circumstances means we don't need to view this as a pattern of risky behavior, but as a one-time isolated event. Another common situation we see is with irregular or large deposits into the bank account. Without a letter of explanation, this might seem suspicious. For starters, we need to make sure that these aren't illegal activities. Believe it or not, there are mortgage regulations that make us verify that there's not money laundering and other sorts of things going on. In addition, we also need to figure out if we can count those deposits towards income or seasoned assets. This also affects what you can be approved for or how large of a loan you can be approved for. So no matter the situation, what we're doing, we're not judging. We're not trying to go deeper than we need to. We just are trying to better understand your situation beyond what simple numbers are telling us. If you use this opportunity wisely, it will make a huge difference on whether or not you get approved for the loan. And if you're wondering how huge, well, I want to talk about that right now. How much weight does a letter of explanation carry? And to put it bluntly, pretty much a lot. Now you might say, what's a lot? It's huge. If a lender, specifically Low V Rates, is asking you for a letter of explanation and you don't provide one, it's almost guaranteed your loan will be denied. Basically, that can be the difference between getting an approval or a denial. Now, that doesn't mean that you should just get super anxious if a lender asks you for a letter of explanation. Remember, the LOE, the letter of explanation, is your secret weapon. It's your superpower to loan approval. And as long as you're able to clearly explain the situation the lender has a question about or the questions about and provide a good reason for it, then this is only going to be positive for your loan. Now, I want to end with talking about the actual writing of the letter of explanation. All of these letters of explanation should include some very basic information. I'm going to put this up here, but I don't want to keep bending down. So I apologize if the board's a little sloppy. When you're writing your letter of explanation, you must include, man, my board looks a little nasty, but I'm hoping it's coming through okay to you guys, the date that you're writing the letter. Might seem, pretty self-explanatory, but the date that you're writing the letter, okay? Your name and the lender name, okay? Your name, lender name, and frankly, your address is likely to be on there. Now, if you don't put your address on there, the lender could always insert that, but you want to look like a real expert, which is what I'm shooting for. Set it up the right way. A subject, okay? A subject line. And then this is just, business writing 101. Your subject, you can write it like this, right? Like you see in an email, and then put, LOE, late payment, whatever. You can also put RE and then LOE, late payment. Both of those are standard for writing professional letters. A good greeting. Greeting might just be introducing yourself, thanking the underwriter or the lending institution for considering you for a loan, and basically just a slight intro. Put that on there. I guess I'm going to bend down anyhow. Okay. Then we get into at least one paragraph that provides the information the lender's asking for, along with things like the relevant details, the dates of the gap of employment, or the dates that the late payment to your auto loan happened, or whatever it is. Make sure you put specific account numbers and dollar amounts. The more specific you can be, the better off you are. Specific, that's huge. And your loan officer, when they have your credit report, can give you account numbers and dates and things like that. The final thing I would do is a courteous, polite, professional closing statement. This is your ability to sell yourself and let the lender know why we or they should take a risk and lend you money for your home. Sign it, put your signature on there, and you're good to go. Okay? That stuff is very, very important if you want a really solid letter of explanation. If you've got a co-applicant and there's questions about your co-borrower or your co-applicant, they should basically write their own letter of explanation also in this exact same format. And then finally, very important, supporting documentation, if you have it, that backs up your explanation. What would a supporting document be? Let's say, for example, you've got a collection account on your credit report. The underwriter wants to know why it went into collections and what happened. You do that with your letter of explanation. And then in that closing paragraph, you happen to remind the underwriter, hey, I paid this thing off 3 years ago. I just can't get it off my credit report. If you have a letter showing or a statement showing that that bill's been paid in full, even though your credit report is inaccurate, that's supporting documentation as an example of things that you would want to submit with your LOE. So it may also help for you to go online, search around for, go to Google or whatever search engine you want and type in mortgage letter of explanation example. You'll see some. There are plenty of templates out there. Your loan officer can send you one more than likely to help you get started. The most important thing is that you're professional, direct, specific, okay, and get to the point. Now that you have a better idea of what an LOE or letter of explanation is, how it can help you, and what you should include when you do write one, I sincerely hope that you'll be more confident, not embarrassed or shy, but confident and prepared the next time you're applying for a home loan. If you do have any questions, feel free to give us a call. One of our licensed loan officers can jump right on this and assist you. You can text us. You can live chat us. You can email us. You can comment on this video. Ask us for help. We're standing by every single day waiting to help you out. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again next Friday with another important topic.